Hi everybody, this is the Baseball HUD, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, HUD, and welcome back to another visit to the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny fun.
Now, welcome back to the Baseball HUD 3, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So we're back here talking about the funny farm, the nervous hospital known as WFN. I don't play the funny farm music in every video. But some of the people they talk about here are not necessarily employees currently at WFN. And we got two guys that really aren't currently employees at WFN, but they did work there for many, many years. And since this is a story that happened a few years ago, it was 10 years ago, the funny farm music, the sort of craziness is certainly worth it. I would mention that I've updated the picture. Spazzacato's no longer on there. We got a couple, and the Coconut Head's not on there either. We have new additions to it. We have Joe Beningo, and of course the icon Craig Horton. Smallville announcing, and this is a feud. And we love it when people fight. It's great. It's great for the channel. It's great for, of course, you want to hit the subscribe button. Brandon Tierney details infamous Mike Francesca blow-up. This is from, of course, Awful Announcing. Brandon Tierney walked into Mike Francesca's office expecting a quick chat. He walked out after a 10 out of 10 blow-up. And I would mention, it's pretty legendary, there was always fights between Mike Francesca and Chris Russo. They were always fighting, always. So this is a very combustible situation. And Mike Francesca and Dog had big egos. So when they used to go toe-to-toe, it was pretty titanic. They almost quit several times over the 19 years they were together. Brandon Tierney walked into Mike Francesca's office at WFN expecting a quick conversation. He walked out after what he described as a 10 out of 10 on the ugliness scale. During an appearance on the Awful Announcing podcast, Tierney confirmed the infamous screaming match with Francesca that leaked to the media roughly a decade ago. The blow-up happened after Tierney gave an interview in which he said he wasn't chasing Mike Francesca's throne, a comment Francesca apparently took the wrong way. That's a big throne. 100% true, Tierney said when asked about the incident. I'll actually tell you this whole story. Tierney had just returned from a golf trip in Myrtle Beach when the New York Post published a Q&A where he addressed Francesca's job. The headline framed it as Tierney not chasing Francesca's throne in WFAN, though Tierney insists his actual comments were respectful. Okay? Well, he did have a throne. I mean, he was the number one guy there for 30 years, 19 with Dog, and then after that, so what's the problem? Big egos. The reason why I said I'm not chasing his throne anymore, I was at a point in my career where up to that point, everything that I was doing was based on got to get to WFAN, got to get to afternoon drive, Tierney explained. I know there was a little bit of an unhealthy chase where I was maturing, I was growing. I was doing well and I was saying, all right, listen, you can't control that they hire you. Control what you can control. Do your best shows, Well, he did his best shows and he got fired. They let him go. He walked into the station that day to prepare for his afternoon show with Tiki Barber. Francesca's office was visible from the entrance, and as Tiki walked in, Francesca called him over. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Mike wants to talk to him, he recalled. That didn't really happen much, so I was actually kind of excited. I walked in, and he just unleashes on me, man. He unleashed on me. That seems to be a very favorite word at WFAN with some of these people. I would mention that BT Unleashed is not the most creative. I don't think it's a great title. Unkillable wasn't a great title for a show, but that's his business. I would also mention, somebody's been arguing with me about Mad Dog Unleashed and now Tierney Unleashed. BT Unleashed is one word, okay? There's no copyright infringement, okay? And there's no copyright infringement with BT Unleashed from Mad Dog Unleashed. Sorry. Mad Dog Unleashed is 3 words. Unleashed is an adjective. It is not a noun. I mean, if you called this show Mad Dog Unleashed, starring Brandon Tierney, then there'd be a problem. But that did not happen. That has not happened. Brandon Tierney has nothing to worry about. And your host doesn't have to worry about someone taking the baseball hut, because the baseball hut is my brand. What the hell is a baseball hut? You know, been going with the hut for many, many, many years. Everybody knows who I am, for the most part. Francesca went from 0 to 100 immediately, according to Tierney. F-bombs started flying. Francesca grabbed a stack of papers, ratings. Apparently started yelling about what it's like to be number one. Quote, now, don't give a shit who you are. You're not going to talk to me like that, Tierney said. That's just not going to happen. If you think that I messed up, I'm going to give you the latitude to express yourself. But if you think that I'm going to be on the other end of this tirade for another 30 seconds, you are sorely mistaken. I mean, you know, why would Mad Dog, I mean, why would Francesca say this? It's just crazy. He should say, what do I look like, Chris Russo? I would have walked out. I would have made fun of him and then gone on the air and talked about it. I would have gone on the air. I would have gone on the air with it. That's what makes me a little bit... I just would have gone on the air over it. You know. I mean, I would do that. Certainly. And that would be great radio. Years later, Tierney and others... Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to add fuel to the fire, Tierney said. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't make that happen. I'm not going to make it worse. That's always kind of my mindset, like damage control. I'm from the school where it's okay to get loud. It's okay to disagree. I'm not going to go run into the papers. He should do it on the air. That's what I would have done. The incident made things uncomfortable around the station for a while. Tierney said there weren't many words between him and Francesca after the blow-up. When Francesca did his final show before his first retirement, that's an example, folks, of a comeback. He made a second comeback, didn't last long. Tierney made sure to get a picture with him and post on social media with a positive message. That's how I operate. But I was not going to sit there. I'll tell you, this awful announcing website gives me such a headache. Up and down, up and down. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. That's how I operate. But I was not going to sit. I'm not going to sit there at that level of disrespect, Tierney said. I don't care who you are. That's it. It just can't happen. Years later, Francesca invited Tierney and others to play golf. At one point, Francesca nearly killed Tierney with an errant shot that hit him in the head. Oh, geez, I wonder. That was on purpose. That would have hit me in the temple or the face. I would have been airlifted off the green. It was terrifying. Harrowing is the word that I'll use. After the round, Francesca held court at the country club for 2 hours, telling stories about the early days of sports radio, working with Jimmy the Greek and Brent Musburger at CBS, and the early years with Chris Russo. Again, they used to fight like crazy, he and Chris. They used to go at it pretty bad. Got great respect for Mike, I really do, Tierney said. It was a situation that, on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of ugliness, it was a 10. It was as loud and as violent, and I just didn't give a bleep who saw it. I didn't care who heard it. It was just tunnel vision with Mike. I know one thing about Mike from watching him and listening to him over the years. He's going to respond to this. He will respond to this. Tierney hasn't been shy about discussing Francesca on his new YouTube channel, BT Unleashed. The two have maintained a cordial relationship. Despite the blow-up, though, Tierney made clear he wasn't going to back down when confronted that day at WFAN. We're grown men, big boys, you move on. If they were with me, would have talked about it. Would have talked about it right away as soon as it went on the air. I would have talked about the article and talked about how he screamed at me. And it would have been great ratings. That would have been, that's all it's about, folks. It's getting ratings. Or I would have said, look, I'm not Chris Russo. What the hell do you think you're talking to? I'm not Doggy. I'm not Mad Dog. That's how I would have said it. I once mentioned nobody yells at me. That's for damn sure. Nobody yells at me. Because I don't yell, I don't raise my voice. But this is how it is. This is the kind of stuff that we've read and seen over the 30 plus years of WFAN. Is the fighting, the big egos. You're talking about sports, assholes. Just think about that for a second. You're talking about sports. You're talking about sports. Now, I would mention this channel is getting close to 500 subscribers and close to 3,000 hours viewed, which means that this channel will soon be getting partially monetized. It is customary to let people know that happens. And people, I mean the subscribers and people that watch, so that you are able to make some money. And that's part of YouTube. One of the things YouTube does is encourages people to talk about it openly, and there's nothing wrong with it. Somebody's been arguing with me for the last day, telling me that he's never seen this happen, even though he's been on the platform 12 years as an angry account. I told him that this does happen. It's very customary to ask. He says, well, you haven't been on here that long. I've been on here for 5 years. So I'm just letting people know before we get to 500. I would really appreciate it. It is a way to support the channel. I'm trying to get a new computer for this channel. That's going to have a good microphone hookup, because this setup that I have here sucks. It sucks. It's old. I need something updated. And the best hookup that I can think of is an Apple computer, because an Apple computer has all the editing systems, and I can record on there. I have a camera here that I don't use. I have headsets, but I would like to have like a real professional looking microphone to make your experience better, and that's what I'm trying. So when we get to 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours, I really would appreciate it if you help me out a lot. I'm not asking for a lot. I know how much it's going to cost, about $1,000. I know I shouldn't be talking about it. All the other YouTubers, they all bullshit, pussyfoot around. I don't pussyfoot around anything. That's the one thing people don't like about it, is I don't pussyfoot around about things. Very much in your face, very much, I get to the point. But that's what I'm looking at. Now, over the last several years being on YouTube, I was able to save money up to buy a house, which I was very happy about, put a down payment on the house. And if you've been following me for a long time, the background's different, everything's different here. So the one major problem I have here is that the ceilings are much higher and there's a lot more space here. So the sound sounds like an echo. So I need a microphone here and a better computer here for you and for me to make these videos much better. But I'll let you know when we get to 500. Let you know when we get to 3,000 hours. I'll set everything up. And that's all I can ask is for help. A little bit of help. It doesn't cost me anything to ask, and it doesn't cost you anything to listen. So thank you for watching this video. And again, this is another insane video about the nervous hospital. And maybe we'll get some stories of they came to blows. I know one thing, Francesca will respond to what Tierney said. I can guarantee you that one. Surprised he hasn't already. If he's going to complain about an article, he's going to complain about people talking about him on another podcast. So, thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button. And, of course, this is another video of the nervous hospital known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny fun.